Hello, welcome to our channel Contemporary Literary Review India. In today's interview, I am with the author Dinesh Malhotra. Dinesh Malhotra is an army veteran. He retired from the army after rendering 21 years of active combat service and has been wandering around the MENA regions in the HR and administration domains in the construction and oil and gas sectors for the last 12 years. He defines himself as a core people's guy and has an inherent streak of adventure. Before I move ahead, please subscribe to our channel. Hello, Mr. Dinesh ji. How are you?
Very fine. How are you, Mr. Alam?
Yeah, very fine. Welcome to our channel. So please, would you introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, there's nothing much to write home about. I am Dinesh Malhotra, an army veteran, and I have served about 21 years in army. And thereafter, I've been trudging around the globe, half the globe, I would say, in MENA region, basically, that is Middle East and North Africa, and working with various construction conglomerates in HR and administration domain. So that's short and sweet of it. Been about 33 years that I've been in field, and this bit of a sabbatical has come in because of whatever you can say, the universe setting or not. And then, of course, I will again begin working.
Okay, that's great. So, how many books have you written until now?
Well, this is my first honest endeavor, so as to speak, and I hope I'm already motivated enough with the response that I've got. Maybe I write another. I'm already on some halfway through on the other book.
Okay.
Maybe I'm able to pen more.
So, what is the response to your books from the readers?
It began lukewarm, but it's picking up. I won't say that people ran after the book immediately when the book came on live on Amazon and various threads and Flipkart. But yes, there are feelers that have been given that it's been shortlisted for various adaptations by my publishers, Clever Fox. So that is a very heartening news. Maybe it gets adopted and it may come in next month. So maybe in 2 to 3 months, it will pick up also by word of mouth.
Okay. That's great news. Okay. How actually the idea of writing came to your mind? This is a very curious question to any writers from me.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Alam, writing is something which is there in everyone. You know, everyone writes at some stage or the other, and I personally feel that there is a book in every one of us. Even if we start writing something about our lifespan, our basic daily day-to-day affairs, a book will come out from every man. In my case, it happened like I had a flair for writing. I was writing, small essays, stories, or something like that, but never took it seriously and never at the time. Running around 32, 33 years, I've been working now, and never at the time when I could have got a chance to put pen to pad, so as to speak. And this universe setting or whatever you can say in the past 2 years, what has happened is well known to every one of us. And I've seen a lot of things. I personally, I've had my own share of lowdowns in the lockdown and the pandemic that has been going on. All of us have our own shares of that. And that was one motivating factor. Secondly, I saw a lot of effort being made by, the sentinels, I would say, the doctors, the soldiers, the intelligence agency. Their work were continued as an essential service, They didn't stop. The janitor, the health people. So while we were sitting in the home doing nothing or not able to contribute, and the good Samaritans, there were people who were contributing to making poor people who are languishing on the street, reaching out to them, trying to meet out their needs, monetarily, food wise. So all this was one big motivation, and I would not like to go further beyond that. This whole credit I will lay on, or I would accredit this endeavor of mine basically to my son and wife. Both they are my rock of Gibraltar, and they kind of pushed me and egged me on that. Okay, if you can write, if you are seeing this thing instead of just sitting at home and talking big about the world, write something which may make a difference. So basically, and then this, in 2022, China came and sat on the borders. The soldiers, they got pitched in. So while we were talking, not even knowing what to do, the inoculation, the vaccination, all this was not even thought of early 2022. Our soldiers were on the border. The police was out. They didn't know what to do. And so there were internal problem, external issues, and all this needed to, I feel, be written about, because nobody writes about these guys. And most importantly, the intelligence community, nobody writes about them.
Mm.
Nobody knows what happens, what do the IB chat do, how our soldiers save themselves, all they get lured by the external enemy agencies. So all these were like, they were cumulative factors, all kind of pushed me. But definitely the dominating factor was my son and wife's constant motivation that you put pen to pad. So that I would say why I wrote it.
Okay, okay, okay. So actually, what is the summary of your book? Like, can you give us a glimpse about the book? What is the story?
Well, actually, it's basically it comes in a thriller genre, and it's a pacey read, fast-paced, action-paced writing, and that is the very reason, perhaps because when I was writing, I was visualizing it, that this could be a very good kind. It was coming out like a film, you understand? And that's why I thought that it could be a good thing for adaptation lately. What I am trying to basically show is a story revolving around my two key protagonists. That is one, an army guy, and another, an intelligence guy. One is Major Danish Mehra, and one is ACP Zaid Khan. Two people diverse professional background, diametrically opposite to each other in terms of social strata, placement, locality, yet they, unbeknownst to each other, were working uh, far apart yet in tandem. Their paths were colliding and they were to collide together. And in the process, when they both were doing their part, and there were other, because it's an ensemble cast, I had brought in the role of anti-terrorist squad, the CID people, and other people, the RAW, the IB, and the Narcotics Bureau, various other issues that were going on. So all this I brought into this in the backdrop of a conspiracy which was hashed 50 years ago by our friends across the border, and how the plot unfolds and how it's a race against time, because they unearthed it somewhere in the first week of December of 2019, and they got to complete it before 25th or 26th of December, because last 1 month they are trials. So they have very less time. In fact, in totality, 50 days. It's a race against time, and yet they just about managed to do it. And so this is how the whole thing unfolds, my storyline.
Okay, okay. So, okay, so what is the main thing that you want to highlight in the book, like story or truth or some mystery? What?
Well, it's basically, as I told you, it's a pacey read, and it's got an element of suspense. It's got thrills. It's got the shenanigans, the treachery that goes on the sidelines because I have kept the background as Delhi, the power
Okay.
capital of India. So it's against that backdrop that these two guys are working, and how they go about, and they find, because it's also what I've tried to bring about is that basically and it's a very topical thing which I brought in, is that generally we take it that you know we have stereotypes in our minds that our particular person with from our particular community with and our particular start of life will behave like this.
Right, right.
So that is one stereotype which I have tried to break, that it could be the other way around. One. Secondly, I also want to bring about the day-to-day challenges that an army or intelligence or a security person gets. I mean, he's sitting on borders doing nothing. Suddenly gets a mail or something from a woman, a man posing as a woman. The honey trap, the Facebook or this thing. Sitting alone away from the family, it's easy that these guys get lured and then they get trapped. So that is one angle which I have brought in. Also, the life-threatening sequences that are played out. Because imagine if you are faced with the guy brandishing a knife and I mean one-on-one situation. So these kind of thing from intelligence perspective and from army and security perspective is what I wanted to highlight. And in a day-to-day model, of course, it's based on fair bit of observation. I've drawn heavily from my own experiences in armed forces, and also, of course, the readings that I have done, about intelligence community. So it's a fair mix of, it's amalgamation of all that and more, is what I would say.
Okay, okay, okay. So, see, you mentioned about two protagonists from your book. So, if you have some people in your known circle, that means you have based these characters on known persons, or they are just imaginary characters?
My style of writing is not in an omniscient mode. Generally, what happens, mostly I've seen Indian authors that I've read very few of them, to be very frank. Seen bit of Jampa Lahiri and others, and of course there was Roy Arundhati Roy, who wrote that book. I had a little read through that. So I haven't read very many Indian authors, but the style of writing is very much a documentary style. Generally, it is writing from a third person perspective, is what I have seen generally. My style of writing, I have tried to bring in protagonists who are like one is on a live mode, which I generally what I do is that I put myself in one of the characters and I kind of juxtapose the thought process in that manner that, okay, what he would have done or what I would have done if faced with some similar situation. So I would say like that infantry guy, Danish Mehra, is like a figment of my own observation and imagination, experience. He's a combination of all that. And of course, the ACT Zayed Khan's role is like I've seen various guys because I have had my tenures and I've interacted with various RAW and IB officials from time to time. Just met them, I've not had fair bit of interaction. Just seeing them work and seeing. So it like tells me that I could visualize what because these guys in Indian, everybody knows about CIA, KGB, and all that, but nobody talks about, and people are very enamored by ISI, what they can do, but nobody knows what our people are also able to do, their capability. Nobody talks about, and they are damn good. Let me tell you, they are understated, not talked about. An army officer generally gets decorations, soldier gets awarded, this thing. Nobody even wants to recognize if an ISI agent is caught in India, and neither Pakistan accepts nor China from their agencies, nor will we accept it ever. So these are the guys who are like, okay, till the time, I mean, it's okay to be called a James Bond, but the James Bond model doesn't work here. You understand? He will keep on doing service and one day die unknown or may live unknown. So it's a very challenging job. The raw agents, the IB people, they are never thought about. And the NIA, I mean, how they go about. I mean, India is about 1.5 billion people. How to find one guy who's a mole, who's an agent, sleeping agent. I mean, he's enmeshed in the society, moving around freely. How do we, How do these guys go about collating information, corroborating evidences? It's a real challenge. And there have been few movies made. I remember about 2 years back, a movie came in Indian context was from Arjun Kapoor, which was a flop, but that was something on this. And there was a movie, I think, made by Alia Bhatt, Razi,
Mhm.
on a similar this thing when one of our guy. And there is a Telugu film which was made on that raw agent Kaushik, who Ravinder Kaushik, who went across. So barring these few, I haven't seen much being written about these people or anybody talking about how, because nobody goes, firstly, nobody knows how to even, if you want to tomorrow enter raw, you don't know how to enter raw.
Mm.
So I have also highlighted that, that it is with an IPS, how can they get sidestep? How do the select little I've,
Okay.
I've tried to make people realize that it's something which is working in the system, picks up the best officer from various services within the system, and yet they are unknown and they're doing a great job.
Mm.
So my salute these guys, honestly. Of course, army are number one, but these guys who are on the sidelines, well, I would they're also number one, to be very frank. They're not a
Yes,
step
yes.
behind.
So I believe that it requires big heart, okay, to serve in such situations, because just in our civilian style, we die for names, fames, everything, okay, but they serve their life, but they go unknown. So this requires big heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Big heart is required. And not only that, Mr. Alam, one has to understand that we in uniform may get recognized or recognition. We do get recognized, because we know who the enemy is.
Mm.
There is a demarcation. Only in the low intensity conflict operation, when you are in a domain where you are mixing, you're fighting in civilian areas and various part of India, when you're trying to discern who's the enemy and who's a friend, that becomes difficult. Otherwise, generally, you know that enemy is across this line. You know who's the enemy
Mm.
and who is a friend. But this guy does not know. He's like you and me sitting there. And he has to operate in this very complex scenario in a very, very complicated social domain within India and find out who is outsider and masquerading as, part of us. So I personally feel that these guys are vastly unacknowledged. Their bravery, their daring, never talked about. And maybe it is also from the point of view that most people don't want to acknowledge that we are doing this. You understand? The
Mm.
powers to be never wanted to be acknowledged, but it has to be accredited. We all go to watch James Bond, but what James Bond is doing is also something of the similar level. Only thing is, our James Bonds are not seen. They are
Mm.
not so glamorous. They
Mm.
are not so known. So,
Right.
but they are no less than James Bond, and they don't have the wherewithal.
Mm.
One problem that we have in our own that which I've realized is paucity of resources, paucity of financial resources, paucity of like various tools and things to that could help us, in this particular, that is in each sphere of work. I won't say that it is only in the arm or the intelligence. So
Mm.
it's the odds against which these guys face the challenge. I just try, this is my humble take. It's hardly 200 pages book, but I just try to bring about that, okay, these are the challenges, their own life. I've also written about their love interest, whether they can get married or not. Like on the sideline, various story and subplots are going on in this,
Mm.
if you get the drift.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, that's great. So, as you are into writing, so obviously, I believe that you might have read uh, several writers. So, would you share something about like who you have read more?
Uh, Mr. Alam, generally all of us in your from growing up years, we start about when we start realizing, okay, what are our likes or dislikes, we start discerning which way or path to choose. I also walked the same path, and was growing up. Generally, we started from Tintin comics and all that, and my interest in this whodunit mystery things, it got more heightened as I grew along. Then there were Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, Agatha Christie, the Hercule Poirot, Miss Marple, all these, like, okay, they were good, and I got quite enamored. And as we got along, we had Jeffrey Archer, Ken Follett. There were a lot of movies. The Eye of Needle is a very famous movie of the man from St. Petersburg. Donald Sutherland did a great job in both the movies. So, I mean, we generally, I don't know if who was in Man from St. Petersburg, but definitely from Eye of the Needle was my favorite movie for quite some time. Till the time I saw this Jeffrey Archer's Not a Penny More, The Honor Among Thieves, and then of course the Arthur Haley's the Hotel series and all, with the detective thrown in, and how this all like mystery, detection, suspense, thriller. And then, of course, we had Dan Brown's, and we had the Pelican Briefs, we had the Runaway Jury, and we had this Tom Hanks movie about, things. I mean, then, of course, the Matt Damon series of the Robert Ludlum things. Robert Ludlum is my all-time favorite, and
Okay.
Parsifal Mosaic is my all-time favorite book, though no movie has been made. At least I haven't seen it on that. And of course, in the later years, and I mean, I am quite impressed with the writing of Greg Iles, and the Nashas Burning series. I like that really. He's done a great job, Greg Iles. And his books are not very popular outside the American domain, but he's a Vietnam veteran, and he's a great writer. In fact, Robert Ludlum is also a Vietnam veteran and a Marine guy. So I think that many an army guys are having X links with the armed forces, generally have become popular abroad. Like we have had Desmond Bagley, the Alistair MacLean series. They were like short, fast, racy reads. The Golden Rendezvous, the Golden Gate, and of course where Eagles Dare. Everybody knows these movies. So I just thought about something like that, and I've seen that Jack Higgins. They're just coming in my mind as we talk. I've been an avid reader of these novelists, and I like the way a man is hounded, pitched against the wall, and then he comes back fighting like a cat. So that rebounding back from the wall, unearthing a plot when you have been written off down and out, and then you come back. This kind of thing I really like. So of course I am not that good that I could write like Dame Agatha Christie and create a persona like Hercule Poirot. But yes, I am working at creating subplots instead of creating a larger than life actor, so that in each series I do bring about, like my second book I'm already working on is a state's takeoff from my work in the construction domain. When I told you that after leaving army, I've been working in Middle East and North Africa, and I've been traveling quite a bit. So basically, all this I'm trying to bring out just to show that what a normal, ordinary man, whom we, in terms of written parlance, say or call a protagonist, will behave if the odds go against. And that thing is in all of us.
Mhm.
Anybody can be a hero, as anybody can write a book, anybody can be a hero. And it's just that, and there are heroes galore. We have seen in 2 years, people have done, or not 2 years, in many years, we have seen
Mhm.
there are heroes, even like people who's just like a doctor who in pandemic worked 12, 24 hours is a hero.
True.
So, I mean, he worked, a nurse who didn't take any leave, didn't hide behind, she's a heroine or a hero. The efforts are heroic. Somebody who's fed dogs, who never being fed animals, stray animals during the lockdown, they are heroes. Only thing is who will write about them. So thing is that we have to write about all this, and it's generally these forgotten people element that I'm trying to highlight in all my books, and they
Okay.
are from normal walk of life.
Okay, okay, that's great. In fact, I'm very much happy that you are bringing such elements to the light and to the people, so that people can know, okay, these things are actually getting due credit through writing and
Thank you.
books. Okay, so if you have anything to share with our audience, because I think that our discussion comes to conclusion now. So do you have anything to share?
Well, I'm more than happy to share whatever I've already shared with you, and I think if they can just uh, to my audience, I can say that just reach out. You can buy the Kindle edition, the Flipkart, it's on Amazon. You can go to Sapna stores, the Clever Fox stores. Idea is to just read it, because for as a new author, as somebody who's put pen to pad, it will be very heartening to know or note, not in terms of monetary gains only, that of course my books are getting sold, but it's very challenging for an author in India or anywhere in the world. Because when you start writing, you pen in a book, that is actually 1/10 of the whole thing. After
True.
writing the book, to get it published, to get it marketed, to get it reach the people across in itself is one of the most challenging tasks, which is actually much more challenging than writing a book.
Mm, mm.
So, and we know all that has happened from Roland Atkins to, not Roland Atkins to this, uh, I'm forgetting this series about that young kid, this the children book writer who went about in UK to various publishing houses for getting her book published, and it couldn't be done till the time one of them accepted, and and had the, and now that has become a famous movie series. So my only request is that
Rolling.
just give us a chance. People should read, and reading should be a good habit. I would say, like, it should become part of normal life. Most of us busy watching on the TV and idle, just read about these books, and that will be a big motivation for any one of us who's planning to write a book, or then will you be more motivated to bring such more characters to life. And I'm sure that many more authors will come up and be happy to contribute.
Okay, right. True, true. Okay, Miss, this writer was Rowling, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's what I was wanting to. Yeah,
Okay.
that exactly.
Okay, so okay. Thank you for sharing your views. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.